Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking truth to power. Truth. Myself. Information man. And Lions Den. Welcome to truth to power.
Welcome to Truth to Power. I am Information Man, and I have with me my man, Lions Den. Say something to the people.
Hey, everybody.
All right, Lions Den. One of the focus or the topic that I want to get into is the issue of the black traditional media. As you know, Roland Martin and TV One is canceling the Roland Martin News One show. And he's been on that show for about 4 or 5 number of years. He's been on TV One for about, he's been with them for about 12 years now. And I'm going to play an audio clip by Roland Martin. Let me play this clip.
Publicly announced that TV One will be ending News One now at the end of this year. Our last live show will take place on December 21st. Of course, we launched 4 years ago as the first daily morning show, specifically targeting African Americans. This was the brainchild of our CEO, Alfred Liggins, of course. We started this conversation back in 2012 in terms of launching this show. It has been a remarkable 4 years with this show.
So I just played the clip with Roland Martin. He talked about how it's been a remarkable 4 years, starting back in 2012 when he came up with the concept of the show. And as we know, TV One, for them to be getting rid of the Roland Martin show, it speaks to the fact that they've got some financial problems, serious financial problems. What is your thoughts, Lions Den, about Roland Martin, the TV One broadcast being canceled? Because I've got some controversial things that I want to say about black traditional media tonight. Go ahead, Lions Den.
With the Roland Martin situation, it's funny that, a couple of years ago, he basically, like you said, he owns TV One. He was part of the Roland Martin show, and unfortunately, they now said that he's canceling the show because of his controversial topics. Unfortunately, we all thought that Roland Martin owns TV One, and we all thought it would be a black-owned media, but unfortunately, that it turns out that it's been diverse. It turns out that one of the really owners is a white guy, and you got some black CEOs, but majority is all white management. So, but to be honest with you, it's kind of odd that you cancel the Roland Martin show, but because of the controversial topics that's on the show, it's supposed to be a black-owned show. And it's really odd that it's going to cancel it for what? It doesn't make any sense, info.
Well, that's just the problem with black media today, because I think traditional black media is...
Old black media formula is dead and dying.
As my special effect clip that I played, old black media is old and it's dying. And I'm going to tell you why. Roland Martin represents that old black media. See, Roland Martin, he miscalculated. Remember, Roland Martin was, along with Donna Brazile, she's a part of that old black media. They both were caking and cooning and buck dancing for one Hillary Clinton. Remember Roland Martin? There was controversy about questions being given to Hillary Clinton. Questionable ethics, media ethics that you're not supposed to do when she had the debate with one Donald Evil white supremacist Trump, and Roland Martin and TV One got caught in that controversy. And there was question as to whether Roland Martin was spoon-feeding answers. Okay? Now you say, well, they didn't want Roland Martin on TV talking the truth. The bottom line is that I'm going to play my clip again.
Old black media formula is dead and dying.
It's dying. Old black media format is dying. It's dying. The problem is that black people don't own nothing. We don't own any media outlets. We think we own BET. No, we don't, because that was sold to Viacom, white cable company. If you look, and I'm going to play a clip from Phil the Avai show. If you look at TV One, who's on their board of directors, who's really running things behind the scene, the majority of the executives, as you just stated, are white people. Now, this is one of the problems, like my man Phil from the Avai show said, that when you make your company public, it allows anyone to buy shares into your company. And when they can buy shares, they can manipulate the direction of your show. Now, I'm going to play a clip from my man, Jason Black of the Black Channel. Fantastic statement that he said about Roland Martin. See, this might be what goes around comes around for Roland Martin, because Roland Martin, when you look at traditional white media, the CNNs, MSNBC, after this happened to Roland Martin, the rumors out there is that he was going around tweeting everybody he could in the business. And the fact of the matter is that white media outlets like the CNNs and the NBCs, they don't need Roland Martin. Matter of fact, they don't need black folks really talking at all. Look at what happened to MSNBC after President Obama got out of office. MSNBC let all of their black personalities. You got Joy Reid on there. That's one. Let me clap my hand for the one. Let me clap our hands. My special effect there for clapping that I just played. Let me clap my hands for Joy Reid, one of the few black people that's on MSNBC. Alyssa Perry, I think is her name. She got let go. They cut Al Sharpton, Reb Sharpton. They cut his show from coming on Monday through Friday and put his butt on Sunday. So instead of having Reverend Sharpton talking 5 days a week, they downsized that Negro to 1 day a week, Sunday, early in the morning when most of us are asleeping and snoring. Okay? And so, because they can't have Al Sharpton on there running his mouth about activism and protesting, whether you like Al Sharpton or not, they can't have him on there running his mouth and such. They can't allow that to happen. They got to control the narrative as much as they can, Lions Den. And so,
right,
traditionally, what you see is whenever President Obama was in office, so they had a need to have all these black folks on TV running their mouth. You had Fox News hiring all type of black conservatives. And now that President Obama's out of office, and you've got one Donald Hitler Trump in office, you notice they've kind of purged all the black pop personalities that you see on TV. What do you think about what I just said, Lions Den?
Well, you're absolutely right, Info. I think the problem is they cutting down all the black anchors off a network. Keep in mind, Info, that MSNBC really is running by a corporation. Matter of fact, by Comcast. Comcast run MSNBC, and when we have business instances like that, when you talk controversial issues on a major network, they normally, like you said, either shorten their shows or cancel it altogether. And this is very important. The same thing would happen to Roland Martin on TVN1. Remember, I think he said months ago that TV1 is my baby. I run this company, or I run half of this company. Now, as you can see, turns out that's not the case. You see a lot of diverse, and just like Phil said, the Advice show, that why did he say diverse? I thought it was an all black owned media.
No,
and it turns out that is not the case.
No.
So it's ridiculous.
Lions Den. I'm gonna play this clip from my man Jason Black, and then I'll answer what you just said from the Black Channel as it relates to the controversy that surrounds Roland Martin, because I believe that they've been wanting to get rid of Roland Martin for some time, and they were able to ease him out this way, because if they did it straight up or aggressively, Roland Martin could start singing like a bird and telling you all the little dirty secrets of what was really going on. Who knows? But let me play this clip, and then I'm going to get back to your question.
Do you really think that this was coincidental? A month after Jake Tapper of CNN, a major name in news, goes.
So I'm going to stop it right there. Jay Tapper of CNN News was one of the ones that called Roland Martin out as it related to the controversy around whether Roland Martin and folks like Donovan Ville and TV1 were spoon-feeding answers to Hillary Clinton during the debates. And let me let this clip just play itself out.
Do you really think that this was coincidental? A month after Jake Tapper of CNN, a major name in news, goes online and says that Roland Martin and TV1 are both illegitimate because they were giving debate questions to Hillary Clinton when she was running for president in 2016. Do you really think that this was not a Bill O'Reilly type move? They're essentially yanking Roland from television. When Jake Tapper did that, the news media world took notice. They were waiting for Roland to say it wasn't true, and he couldn't do it. And now it's hung like an albatross around TV1's neck, and they're cutting him.
So my man Jason Black is basically saying that when he was called out by this particular news reporter, that it was really bad press, bad PR for TV1 that's been hanging around their neck like an albatross. And Jay Chatter, when he put this information out, he's a well-respected individual. It put a lot of traditional, what you call white media out there on notice that Roland Martin was possibly someone that you didn't want to deal with. So I'm using Roland Martin as the emphasis of the dead media because let's just break it down. We don't own anything. We don't own BET. Black folks, no, we do not own TV1. Okay? We don't even own The Root. The Root is owned by Univision, a Mexican media company. We don't own Essence, and we don't own Ebony. None of these old traditional media, such as your print media and your visual media, have been relevant, and have been relevant in a long time. I think Essence and Ebony were having financial problems, which allowed for white corporations not say white corporations, because black people, we don't own any corporations, any real things that move and shake. I'm just being honest. I know folks probably won't like me saying this. They don't want to hear it. They want to be in denial and take the blue pill and go to sleep. But I'm going to give you this red pill knowledge. And the fact of the matter is, none of our traditional media outlets have any relevance anymore. I'm going to tell you that I believe that people like Roland Martin, Donna Brazile, a lot of the black folks that you see on TV, they represent that old media, and the problem with them is that they don't really, to me, speak truth to power. They don't really speak truth to power when it's needed. For example, Roland Martin, when he had what's the white supremacist from alt-right on his show? What's the guy? Who's the guy that he had on his show? Spencer came on Roland Martin's show, and Spencer said, my ideology, see, this is what we got to understand how white supremacy works. Their ideology is that they will identify themselves as white men. I am a white man in America, and I run things and own things and control everything. Whereas while black people will say, I'm a Christian, I'm a good person, and Roland Martin said, I'm a man. Okay, we know you are a man. But when Richard Spencer challenged him and said, I'm a white man, Roland Martin went to the traditional, you could tell he went to the traditional thing that black people always go through because we've been culturally conditioned to through religion. He went to the Jesus, I'm a Christian, and I'm a man. Whereas Richard Spencer came at him and said, I'm a white man in America. Deal with me. He came at him with power. And in my opinion, Roland Martin went with the traditional, I'm a Christian, I love everybody. And guess what? That type of philosophy has been the same philosophy that has kept us in a situation, a passive situation that has gotten us nowhere. And when you look at, the reason why Richard Spencer can come on the show and say to Roland Martin, I'm a white man, and he can say it with power and conviction, whereas Roland Martin and many black men like him can only say this Christians type stuff or this I love everybody kind of stuff, is because Richard Spencer knows that when he leaves TV One, he can hold his head up high, the white supremacist that he is, because he knows that it is white people and a white man and white women and men who own TV One, who allow Roland Martin to talk. And when they decide that they no longer want him talking anymore, they can get rid of him at any time. Now, like my man Neely Fuller Jr. says about white supremacy, listen up, folks.
Anything having to do with black people, the white supremacists are involved. I mean, otherwise there would be no such thing as white supremacy. You know, if black people were just walking around, I mean, with nothing affecting them, you know, in economics, in education, in entertainment, and in the 9 areas of activity, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war. If black people weren't affected by the system of white supremacy, there would be no point in talking about white supremacy. So the hypothesis is, the conclusion has to be based on logic and evidence. Everything that black people do, every move that they make anywhere on this planet called Earth, is dominated by the system of white supremacy. That's what it's designed to do. Dominate all of the affairs of people classified as non-white.
Stop it right there. So as you can hear, Neely Fuller Jr. says their goal is to control the behavior of people that are classified as non-white. So, Roland Martin works for TV One. All of our social media, our media outlets, our traditional media outlets are run and controlled by white people. So, when we say, why is Roland One off of TV One? Because the white supremacists say so. They're the ones calling the shots. Kathy Hughes of Radio of One, Kathy Hughes doesn't really control much anymore there. My man Phil from the Avi Show, he talks about who all the board members are. Ebony, Essence Magazine, all these. I mean, Essence gives a festival in New Orleans every year, the Essence Festival. So what? White folks control that. So when Richard Spencer went to talk to Roland Martin, and he said, "I'm a white man, I control stuff," and Roland Martin went to the usual "I'm a Christian" card, it didn't mean anything, because Richard Spencer knew that, well, my people run and own this outlet that you're on that's supposed to be black. You hear what I'm saying? Lions Den, what do you have to say about that?
Well, we've also proven, Info, that, we just like you said, we can't control our own media. We can't. We always following what the other side believes or the other side has control over. It's like with Roland Martin, for example, he telling the world, well, I own this and I own that. Well, Roland, with all due respect, like you said, you didn't own anything. Then what's making it so bad is that you allow corporations, bigger corporations, is taking over your companies. So really, reality, Info, that people is going to say, well, I own this, but realistically, you don't own nothing. You let a lot of people take over your company because guess what? We don't have the money to have our own company. And that's my point, Info. It's like you're telling a person that I own that, but realistically, you don't have the money to own anything. And so you got like MSNBC, CNN, who's thinking that they own their own show, but no, they don't own their own show. The corporations own your show. So the point is that basically, just like you said, Info, we don't have the money to have our own business, and yet we have to ask them to create our shows just for make them have their profits. So it's just ridiculous, Info.
Well, I'm going to play a couple of clips. I just think white media is not concerned with black people.
Saying something, the white media is not going to give up. I mean, they're not. They are not going to invest in black media like they used to.
Okay, I don't think, as I was playing in the clip, I don't believe, as my man Jason Black was breaking down in the clip, that white media they're going to invest in black media. They're going to gobble up black media outlets. They'll gobble them up, change them, manipulate them. But I don't think that they really are concerned about us. What I think is happening, Lions Den, is that I think as the traditional black media has died out with our, what's happening is what's relevant is the social media. What me and you are doing right now is has become more relevant. You've got people like Tariq Rashid on YouTube. You've got my man Jason Black. You got my man Phil from the Avi Show. You got a lot of people who are following black media online. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You've got people like Dr. Umar Johnson now, whether you think he's a real doctor or he's got some flaws, that's debate, that he's got some flaws about him that people are concerned about, but a lot of these guys that have organically become very popular and have a following, the reason why they're being followed and respected by this generation and people are pulling away from black traditional media, as I believe, is because these individuals speak truth to power. They're uncompromising. They're not willing to settle for just, I want to be on traditional TV. And if you notice, you don't see a lot of these individuals that you see in the social media that are very popular, like the Dr. Umar Johnsons or my man Sinetta of Sinetta TV. You don't see them on any traditional shows because they're speaking real truth to black people. They're telling us like it is. They're giving us insight, and that scares the hell out of what we call traditional media, and it scares the hell out of black traditional media, which represents someone like Roland Martin or others like him. Because you remember when Roland Martin brought Dr. Umar Johnson on his show, he tried to ambush him. He had all these coonish type of black folks on his show, and it was just ridiculous. Let me play another clip, and I'm going to ask you a question, Lions Den, if you don't mind.
Ebony Magazine is dead. Dead. Jamila Lemieux has been living off the name of something that was made 60 years ago. Ebony is dead. Essence is dead. All they have is a festival in New Orleans, and that is it. But they are not trendsetters. They don't set the mold. They don't set the tone for anything. And we only invoke their names here as historical anecdotes.
So as my man was saying, is that Ebony, Essence, all these black traditional media forms, the magazines, some of the TV, they don't really set any trends anymore. They're not trend setting like you see a lot of individuals on the social media side, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, for example. They're not setting the trends in our society for black people. They have sort of capitulated. They have sort of allowed themselves to be sold, brought up, gobbled up by white economic powers. And so what we get when you look at an Essence magazine or Ebony is watered down garbage, because the majority of the magazine is ads, because they got to have ads too. But you've got all these articles that are sometimes more gossip-like than they are informative. And then sometimes there are some informative things in the magazines, but the informative parts of these magazines, it's such a small amount. Now, at one time in American society, we had black newspapers. I lived in the Fillmore area, my younger years, high school and college, Fillmore area of San Francisco, and we had a newspaper called the Sun Reporter. Dr. Goodley was the one who owned that. He was a black man, owned it outright. Now, he's not alive today, and the Sun Reporter had been in the Fillmore area of San Francisco for years. It's gone. The newspaper is gone. Excuse me, a little bit of water here from my throat. That was a newspaper that spoke to the issues that were happening in the Fillmore area, a black area, or used to be a black area of San Francisco, the Western District. It was a newspaper, the only newspaper that would speak about the unsolved deaths of black men and women, homicides that had not been solved, when the San Francisco Chronic and Examiner failed to report. Okay, Oakland's got the same thing too. All these traditional black newspapers across the country, they're all gone. And when you try to get black people to order subscriptions to the Sun Reporter and many other black newspapers across this country, or used to be across this country that I can't name all of them, the Pittsburgh Courier, I think, was one of them. All these papers died because black people stopped supporting them. They did not spend the money to support them because we're so busy supporting white newspapers, CNN. We're so busy supporting entities that don't give a damn about us. And we wonder why black media is this.
Old black media formula is dead and dying.
Right. Part of the reason why the black media formula is dead and dying is because we as black people have stopped supporting it. We've gotten caught up in the white media, or the traditional medias on TV, and it's caused an underground system in which you have black people looking elsewhere for their information through listening to people of the Dr. Umar Johnson ilk, or Sinetta TV ilk, or you've got individuals like that buffoon Polite, who's turned out to be a shyster. Okay, you've got these individuals that are holding weight. Tariq with his with what he did with the 1804, with the 18, he did the thing about Haiti, and he did the Hidden Color series. That's the new black media that young people, millennials, are gravitating towards. We've got 30 minutes left in the show. Anything you want to say, Lions Den, to what I was talking about?
We're talking about that we as black people don't own our own newspapers, don't own our own television shows, don't own our own news channels, and it's obvious is that you have MSNBC, CNN, all them other corporate run media is taking over the black media. It just, I mean, we don't even see Jets. You notice that we don't see no Jet magazine anymore. Or we see Ebony, but not really Jet.
Because
it's gone. Mr. Johnson, who owns Ebony and Jet, there's no black media anymore.
We don't see Jet because Jet went out of business in terms of its print media. So they decided they were going to go digital. That's why you don't see Jet. All of these traditional outlets have been destroyed. Now, this is where I disagree with you, Lions Den. I think we do have media, black media, but it ain't traditional black media. That's my point here. Our black media is guys like Phil of the Avice Show on YouTube. Our black media is guys like Tariq Sheik, who've been making those Hidden Color movies. Or guys like Umar Johnson, or my man from Sinetta TV in Harlem, who's got all those brothers that come on there and they have debates about issues, okay? Our black media is individuals like me. I'm not trying to tote my own horn, but I'm saying I think we do have the black media. Is that most of it is brothers like myself and sisters out there, or people out there who are doing things, whether it be podcasting, they're doing things on social media to get information out there to people. They're doing it in a non-traditional manner because that's where people are finding their information. People don't want to sit down and listen to a morning show like what Roland Martin does, okay? Or even Al Sharpton. People don't really want to sit down and listen to that because it's boring, so to a certain degree. And a lot of these individuals are out of touch. As much as they act like they're in touch with the black community, or they believe they are, or they sound like they are, in many ways, they're out of touch, which is why they can't pull a crowd. They can't gravitate people. So I think that we do have black media. It's just that it's out there, and these are not people like myself and many others that are out there in the mainstream. They ain't got their name on some big marquee, right? And I'm jumping on Roland Martin tonight because what I see in Roland Martin is an example that when we think that we got power, when we see a few black people on TV, we don't have no power. Okay? Like I told you, a white supremacist went on his show, challenged him straight up, and could walk off that show because he knew, with his head up high, because he knew that show is owned by white people. That's why he identified himself as I am white. Black people want to identify ourselves as Christian and every damn thing else. And I'm telling you that's our downfall. Because in America, black people, white is seen as superior, black is seen as inferior, and as a manifestation of the cultural conditioning in American society, we will underestimate and undervalue and marginalize black people. And black people will do it to themselves, which is why we don't have traditional black media strong anymore, because what did we do? We ran away from it. We didn't support it when it needed its support, and now it's on life support. It's dying because there's no money in it. There's no support in it. And what I'm telling you is that the black media is not traditional. It is alternative, like what we're doing here tonight. Lions Den, we got 10 minutes, 9 seconds or whatever. We got some little bit of time left. Anything else you want to break down, my brother?
Part of it you were saying about that, which is true. You know, you're talking about that we do have black media, and yes, I totally agree. We still do have black media, independent media, and so like the Advice Show, like Dr. Omar Johnson, these are black independent media that we have, and you know, sometimes that we all need to go and see them live on YouTube or any Stitcher Radio or anything like that, or what we're doing right now, you know, to get information out, you know, and I agree with you on that. And so that's what I'm saying. People need to support black independent media because we give them more information than, you know, mainstream media does.
That's right. That's right. Let me play this commercial.
Wait a minute, hold up. Let me stop the show for just a minute and remind everyone listening, truth to power with Lions Den and information man.
Let me play what a man from the Advice Show had to say.
Let me go and see who's on the board of Urban One, because Urban One owns TV One. So we'll put the board on the screen here. Now, as you can see, the board of directors, now it's supposed to be a black-owned company, and you see, okay, you got two brothers there and 2 white guys. You see here Kathy Hughes. This is executive management, and, you know, that's her son, Alfred Liggins. You see, you know, the guy named Peter Thompson is the chief financial officer. The other lady, you know, as well. You go here, brand management. Now, David Cantor, let's talk about him, CEO of Radio Division and Reach Media. Now, I always thought it was strange that even here in Houston, you have 97.9 The Box. Do you know there's a white woman that's over that? And so black people got to go through this white woman to get their music on 97.9, or she can.
Phil was talking about how TV One is owned by white people and how it's corporate owned completely by white, you know, investors. He talked about this thing in Houston called 97 or 92 The Box, which is a hip hop station that is run and operated and controlled by a woman who's, you know, white or corporate, and that we don't even, in Houston, they don't even have control of their hip-hop music stations. No, nothing. The traditional way. And it's a serious problem, Lions Den. Let me finish playing more of this.
Break artists, etc. I thought that was real weird that you got a white woman running a hip-hop station, and yet that's not her community. That's not where she comes from. And if you see this woman, which I know her name, and I'm not going to say it unless I need to, but she's running everything here in Houston, a large market. But the woman that Roland was talking about is Michelle Rice, as you can see right there, a black woman. Then you go here to corporate leadership, only one black woman there, a bunch of white folks. But they're supposed to be a black-owned station. Now, they have shareholders, and shareholders, when you go publicly traded, you can't control who buy the shares. That's why it's better to stay a private-owned company and don't let people buy into your company. But the issue that I have seen with the situation of Roland Martin is a few things, and I want to go through them. First and foremost, Roland Martin represents the old, traditional, dying media. That's what he represents. And it's dying. People don't want to see that anymore.
So Lions Den, Phil's talking about how the old traditional media is dying and that people don't want to see that anymore, just like what we were talking about. Let me move on.
I would watch Roland's show, and some things Roland would put out at times would be good, but then he'll do something like the Umar Johnson thing, or he'll carry the line and tote the water for the Democratic Party, or he's up there buck dancing and raccooning for Hillary Clinton. That's not a good look. And in the new black media, we're not going to rub shoulders with the Democrats. In the new black media, we understand that Democrats have harmed us more than any other group. And no, we're not siding with no Republicans because they don't like us either. We are on the team black community. None of these political parties matter to us.
So he made a good point that we need to be team black community. And we need to focus on ourselves. But I just believe that our power and our voice is through our independent means of being able to get information out as best we can, using all the platforms that are at our disposal. I remember I go back to when BET used to have had a news program. So I'm really concerned about the fact that we as a people, we don't really own completely the very outlets that we use to get information. The Griot, The Root, our magazines. Now with TV One being gone, and it's just a matter of time before they take old Al Sharpton off of MSNBC. They've already marginalized him to like Sunday. So it's crazy. We only have a few more minutes left before I need to play the end of the show out. So if you have anything to say, Lions Den would be a good time to say a few words quickly.
All I want to say to everyone out there, and thank you guys for tuning in our podcast and tuning in our Facebook Live. What I want to say is stay woke and support the black independent media, because the thing is that and for example, for YouTube info, a lot of people don't know that the mainstream media is going to take over YouTube to push the independent media out of YouTube. So it's more important. People just need to support independent media, black independent media especially. But go to there's so much stuff you can do. Go to Patreon, support people on Patreon that are independent, especially with the Advice Show. Support Phil, the Advice Show. Support us. We will give you a lot of information that you needed, and so we can continue to give you stories that you want to hear, and don't go through the mainstream media that's going to tell you and lies and everything else. So I would like to thank you guys, and that's all I have to say, Info.
Thank you. I think what you said about staying woke was very important. I totally agree with that. With ending the show tonight, I just want to thank everybody out there that was listening. It was a little bit of a rough night in the beginning trying to get the technical stuff down, but I'll fix that. It's the first time we actually went live together using the system that I have here. So I want to thank everybody for listening to the Truth to Power show. We're going to be on every Monday, 8 p.m. Western, 11 p.m. Eastern. I want to thank everybody. I think what Lions Den said is the truth. And everybody out there, I'm concerned that that black media is become...
Old black media formula is dead and dying.
And thank you for listening.
Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking truth to power. Truth. Myself. Information man. And Lions Den. Welcome to truth to power. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me stop the show for just a minute and remind everyone listening. Truth to power with Lions Den and information man.
Right here on Facebook Live. Any final words, Info?
Well, I was trying to end the. Remember, I turned it. You really want to stop?